A verb. It's a thing to do. It's a thing of energy and momentum. But most of us here know that it's also a book. A cherished book by a cherished Australian author, Alison Lester, who is a children's laureate. She's got an Order of Australia, and to be frank, she's a pretty kick-ass nana as well. Now, verbs are important to me, particularly this one, because the word imagine is not just active, it's transformative, which happens to intersect in the very space in which theatre shines. This book is so overdue for a live adaptation. I can't believe we are lucky enough to bring it to you. Now, when I approached Alison about adapting this book, and those that know her know she's brilliant and funny and dry and very direct, and in her very direct way, she said to me, out of all of my books, it's not an obvious choice. And she's right. There's no story to speak of. There are just two characters and they don't talk, and then there are all these animals. When I explained this is the actual reason why I'm drawn to this book, she quickly gave it her wholehearted endorsement, because this 30-year-old book, which is still a bestseller, is way ahead of its time. This is my own personal copy that is stuck together with sticky tape, barely holding together. Now, true to its name, you can literally open this book onto any page because its narrative is non-linear, which is a very boring way of saying a very exciting thing. You can open it up and go on a journey looking for the kittiwake or the cowrie, or my favourite, the narwhal. Or you can adapt Alison's beautiful verse into a slightly questionable parenting tool. For example, imagine that it was time for bed. That ibis looks sleepy, that possum is yawning. Let's turn off the light, we can play in the morning. Or if it was a particularly hard day, that possum is yawning. Now don't hit your brother, this is your final warning. Now obviously this is a very poor cousin to Alice's beautiful verse, but it is the reason why we would return to this book over and over again, because every reading was different. And to this day, my kids don't realise they're not actually in the book. But they are smart enough, like most kids, to realise it's not about the book. It's about that charged space that magically springs into existence between you and them through stunning books like these that is important. And it's in this space that this live show is built. Now, I can't tell you how many times we turned our front room into an African savannah or pulled the kitchen cupboards open to pull out all the utensils to build our favourite animals.
Take a spoon and place it there, and very soon you'll be imagining with me. A pot, it's not, but wait, there's more. A plate and more. What's this?
Chopsticks?
I agree.
What?
Yes, imagining with me. Imagining with me. There are so many things hidden around you. Stare at it hard till it comes into view.
Where do you think you are going with that one?
If I place this right here, I think it might give you a clue.
A dingo?
No,
An ocelot?
definitely not.
A kangaroo?
No.
An antelope?
No.
Zebra? Gorilla? Giraffe? Galah?
No.
Rhinoceros?
Much closer. It's big and strong, smart.
It's so hard. An elephant! That's what I meant. Alright, it's all your turn now, an elephant. We can work with that.
Inside your room, there's space to spare. It's everywhere you'll be. of the creative team from Imagine. And recently, we were lucky enough to go to my daughter's school to work on some of the cool things that we've been working on for the show. We learnt so much. Most importantly, that this book is as sharp and relevant as the day it was printed. Possibly more so. These kids knew more about the animals than we did, and in case you were wondering, dinosaurs are absolutely still a thing. As you know, Alison's work connects strongly to the environment. And I remember her commenting on how so many of these animals are now endangered or even extinct. So as we hand over this precious place to future generations, this show provides a fantastic opportunity to frame this work for a younger audience. Because let's face it, how will we ever save the tiger quoll if you've never heard of it?
Hi, I'm Phil. I'm also part of the creative team. I've been working on some of the technical and puppetry elements of the show. We've been building on the knowledge that we gained from our previous show, Robot Song, and capitalising on some amazing advancements that have been made in live animation technology over recent years. This show will flow and respond to the actors and the audience in real time. We'll be taking real objects from around the stage and magically transforming them into animated versions of Alison's iconic illustrations.
Now, obviously the music is a huge component of this work, and Robot Song composer Nate Gilks has created the most stunningly rich soundscapes and hilarious songs that underpin this entire work, some of which you've heard here today. 3 performers and 2 puppeteers will dance and play and create through this work in the most surprising and creative ways where anything is possible and probably will happen. Now, on a final note, but a really important one, because it is the engine that drives all the work that I do. Like most of us, I've been reading studies about the escalating crisis in mental health for young people. And whilst I won't go into those heartbreaking statistics here, we all know them. I will point to the fact that creativity, imagination and play are constantly highlighted as important ingredients for resilience and self-esteem, a platform upon which not just kids but all of us can thrive. Imagination is a muscle that loves to be worked. It lifts you up, but it also holds you on the way down, which is a really powerful message this little book has been celebrating for decades, and for me, the single most important reason for bringing it to you. Imagine. I'm just now going to quickly pass over to Nick Clark, who's going to talk about some incredible advances in the pipeline for this little work at the moment. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks. Thanks Joel, Ash and Phil. NCM has been involved in the ground up with this show and it's going to be absolutely incredible. And I've got a very, I was very excited to announce today that speaking of artists and venues collaborating, we've selected a co-producing partner. We've both selected each other, a co-producing partner and host for the world premiere of Imagine Live in September 2024 with Geelong Arts Centre. Thank you. I'd actually like to invite John McGuinness, CEO of Geelong Arts Centre, to come up and say a few words.
Hi team, just very quickly, we're super excited to be partnering in this work in the world premiere. It was one of those days when we had the meeting over Teams of all places where I'd come out of risk management and budget meetings and needed something for my soul, and this work absolutely did that and does that. So excited to be a part of it and see the absolute depth and beauty that this work really gives to young people and families. So I can't wait to work on it. And I think also working with Nick Clark, I think that what you've done over many years is work with so many of us as presenters and understand works that are important and tell really critical stories for our audiences. So I can't wait to be a part of it.
Thanks, Joel.